Oh yeah, you don't want to keep farting every time when it's done, man. You know every time I'm here. You know, it's just everything is just regressing like shit. You know what I'm saying? Each year, this dump is just regressing. Therefore, I'm regressing. All right. Well, you know, it is what it is. That's why I farted. I farted like a cut ass bitch. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let me reflect on this quote from Eugene here. As he posted earlier in the morning, and you know, I'll cross off his name here. You know, I'll just read off what it says as it's shown on the screen. You know, to start off this podcast. You know, I'll definitely reflect on it. So it says here. You know, it's always here in the group chats where problems seem to exist. When we're together in person, it's like a totally different atmosphere and everything's fine. I got a lot that I wanted to address about that. So, you know, I'm gonna reflect on it. I'm gonna explain it as it relates to what I'm going through, both as a person, as a friend, and why some people, especially some of my ex-close friends from that group, you know, should understand where I'm coming from and why I would never do this in person, right? So my thing is, you know, after I reading that quote, you know, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with Eugene here, because you know it's just more proof in the pudding, especially as he's been a part of many of these hangouts, that I would never be like that, because when we all hang out, we're all enjoying ourselves. We need the outdoors. All of us need outdoors. We all have problems. We get that. I get that. You know what I'm saying? We have problems at home. We have problems at work. Problems elsewhere, right? You know, that's not like in the outdoors, just trying to enjoy ourselves, right? And you know, even at my worst, man, you know these guys, and even my ex-close friends, Julio, Robbie, Tristan, Andrew, Dewey, they all know. They all know I'm not like that in person when we hang out. I'm always highly spirited. I'm a very spirited person when we all hang out, especially in groups. These guys know that, especially Julio and Robbie, whom I traveled with a few times. We went to Vegas together. We went to San Diego together. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how in the hell some of these guys will even think for 1 second that I'm a bad friend, or I'm a bad influence, or I'm a bad human being, what have you. That's just so out of bounds. And I rock with these guys, dude. I rocked with these guys, you know, since day one. I know we've had a lot of ups and downs. And look, I will say this: back in 2012, I know these guys. I'm talking about Julio and Robbie, and even Jeff, who used to be a part of our hangouts before he became before he became somebody else that we no longer appreciated, you know, as a friend, that you know, that they always joked harder with me, and I get that. I didn't take it well at the time, therefore I showed my frustration and anger and annoyance. So that was just pretty much the only time, you know. So yeah, but other than that, you know, since then, like, all of our hangouts, everything is just been smooth. Now, I didn't like some of the questions that they asked, like, you know, during our hangouts, because we were supposed to enjoy, you know, our time together and all that. You know, you got some questions that Julio and Robbie will be asking like, why this and why that, when we're all just trying to enjoy ourselves. But for the most part, they've not seen me like this, like at my worst. Okay. And what Eugene said there is he's just spot on. Dewey knows that too. Like every time we hang out, especially as a group, they don't see me like this. But every time we're like chatting on the group chats, and look, I'm at fault that I've been on beast mode damn near every day. That they've seen me to where I've caused so many problems in the group chats that everyone's annoyed, right? Even Eugene himself, Russ, Carlos, Abbas, right? Ray, everyone, Nathan, you know what I'm saying? Even the ones on Facebook, Anastasia, Mari, right? They see my rants, even on these text chats, these group chats, the No Baller group chats. But for the most part, I know they know that whenever we hang out in person, I'm always bubbly, I'm always laughing, I'm always spirited, I'm very energetic. And Eugene is definitely one of the guys to realize all that. Okay? So I don't know what it is. Like if these guys have already left me because of my worst like that, so be it. But these guys should already know. I've even said it on Facebook. They're like before the group text incident, the first group text incident. I've even said it, and I know Julio and Robbie saw what I said. Even on the comment section to some of my posts. On some of the quotes that I posted and tagged some people in. And I said I would never be like this in person. I mean, as of recent, yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know how it came to just, like I said, I know I said what I said, all right? And for the most part, I don't ever mean what I said. Whether it's about them or it's, to them, like in the heat of the moment. And next thing you know, it's just like it's just like they thought that I've already become a bad person, and even though we haven't hung out, dude, I haven't hung out with Robbie since what? I haven't hung out with him since his birthday in 2024. That's how long ago it's been. We never hung out in 2025. We had only one phone conversation, or maybe like a couple, but that's it. The last time I saw Julio, early June. So look, man, they can feel what they feel. Oh yeah, and same with Dewey too. Only one time last year. Andrew haven't seen him since what, 2022? That's how long ago it's been. And now all those guys are gone. How I just wish that these guys realize that I would never be like this in person. I get that we all have our problems. I get that we're all going through stuff. But for some of these guys to even think that I'm a bad person like that just because I'm going through so much pain, especially in my dump, like even if I wasn't talking shit about them, like in the heat of the moment that I don't mean, it's like you like, come on. They're gonna come out to think that I'm already like turned into this bad dude or whatever. When in our hangouts, it was never like that. I remember Julio asked me when we hung out for Robbie's birthday at El Torito, which is the last time we saw each other as a group, by the way. Him, Robbie, Russ, Dewey. He asked me why I got crazy on Facebook. Well, I got crazy on my Facebook because of my dump. So my dump has just turned me into somebody that I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And I've said what I said. This is all before the first group text incident, and you know, saw the whole group just fall out from there. You know, unfortunately, the Nutballers, the group itself is already gone. It's like the name itself just died like that. But you know, it is what it is. But it's just I wish that these guys would just understand, like you know, when we're all facing reality. And I've been on beast mode a whole lot, but when we're out, we're always enjoying ourselves. I would never be on beast mode if I'm enjoying myself, whether I go hiking with these guys or if we just go out and eat whatever, or shoot hoops, or you know what I'm saying, anything that we do in the outdoors, or we're just hanging out as a group. I mean, do you really think that I would do this? Yeah, I mean, it's just a whole different atmosphere when we all hang out, and it's an entirely different atmosphere when we're just like in the group text and all that. I mean, I gotta mention something else that Eugene said. It just seems like just a few days ago, he said that there's just really just no interaction with with one another on the groups. Before it used to be about group hangout plans. Now all of a sudden it's just hardly ever any interaction. And I know what he means by that, because usually I'm the one that's dominating when I'm at my worst. I get that. If it's not me, it's Russ that's dominating the group chats whenever I choose to not show up like that. But yeah, you know, he's not wrong there either. But you know, this it's like we're living in two different worlds. You know, when we interact with one another, like outside of the hangouts and during hangouts, and that's just not a good balance. I get that, because we need something to have balance when it comes to friendships and all that. During, like, when we hang out, or when we're in touch outside of hangouts. But you know, right now, with everything that I'm going through, it's almost like these guys are seeing me as like somebody that they don't know, or they're just like they're seeing two different sides of me, right? They're seeing two different sides of me as far as you know, how I act when we're not hanging out, and how we act when we're hanging out, right? So, you know, it has come to this, and it's why, you know, it's why Eugene said what he said. And you know, I'm pretty sure for the most part all of this can be fixed if because it wasn't like this either, like way back then. In 2013, when that year saw a whole bunch of group hangouts together. I think that year set a record for number of group hangouts that we've done back then, when Julio and Robbie's availability was pretty high. And same with Dewey, right? Our boss was not in the picture that much back then, in 2013. Yeah, we've hung out about a few times, but it wasn't as often as it was, like, you know, in the later years, 2015 and beyond, and even more so like after the pandemic, where our boss's his availability has been increasingly high since then. So where we've been hanging out more often, right? So, but for the most part, we're just like it wasn't like this back then. Even on the group chats on Facebook, where we spent the most time, and we're just all laughing at one another. And I get that. I think there just needs to be consistency and balance, and you know, in hangouts, in group chats, outside of hangouts, right? But right now, it just has not been the case that way. You know, everything is just falling apart. From my, you know, at this point I can say everyday beast mode rants, but you know, Like, I mean, I'm just in, you know, just in, it's just whatever at this point, right? So yeah, dude. I just thought I'd address this, and you know, something's got to be fixed. I know I got to fix myself. At the end of the day, it's just, you know, we're interacting with one another in two different environments, and that's just that. So that can definitely be fixed if I was already in a new job. And I know I hate to keep saying it, I've already applied to 3 jobs today, as well as I did yesterday. So I gotta do more of that. So yeah, tell me what you guys think, man. Peace. Thank you for watching, everyone. Like, share, and subscribe.